The sun was dropping behind the jagged ridges of New Mexico territory, painting the sky in hues of red and gold. Dust swirled across the trail where a lone rider guided his horse carefully through the brush. His name was Samuel Hayes, a rancher who had long chosen solitude over company. His days were filled with cattle, hard work, and the sound of wind howling through the canyons. He did not expect that this evening his life would twist in ways he never imagined. Samuel reined in his horse when he caught sight of something unusual ahead. A dark silhouette swayed from an oak tree, the setting sun casting eerie shadows. At first, he thought it might be the carcass of a rustler's warning, but as he drew closer, the outline became heartbreakingly human. A girl, slender and fragile, hung from a rough noose. A crude wooden sign dangled against her chest, scrawled in angry black letters, "White man don't forgive." His jaw clenched, fury burning in his heart. He quickly dismounted, boots crunching over dry earth. His strong hands worked to untie the rope, lowering the girl gently to the ground. She was barely conscious, her breath shallow, her skin bruised around the neck where the rope had cut. Samuel felt his pulse racing as he checked for life. Her eyelids fluttered, revealing dark, frightened eyes. She wasn't gone, not yet. Whoever had done this had left her to suffer a slow death. Samuel knew if he hadn't come along, she would have perished under the silent stars. The girl coughed weakly, her lips trembling as though she wanted to speak. Samuel removed his canteen and lifted it to her mouth. She drank greedily, water spilling down her chin. He studied her features. She was Apache, young, no older than 17. Her hair was long and black, tangled with dust and twigs. Her dress was torn, clearly not of her own people, perhaps taken from settlers or forced upon her. Her eyes glimmered with both terror and defiance. Samuel realized she had suffered cruelty not just from the rope, but from those who placed her here. "Easy now," he murmured, his voice low and gentle. "You're safe." Though he wasn't sure she could trust him, he felt an instinct to protect her. Carefully, he lifted her into his arms and carried her to his horse. The mare whinnied softly, sensing the tension. Samuel secured the girl across the saddle before climbing up. The weight of her small frame seemed a burden not of flesh but of responsibility. He knew full well that in these lands a white man harboring an Apache girl could mean danger, for both of them. The ranch lay miles away, nestled in a secluded valley. Samuel rode with determination, scanning the horizon for signs of pursuers. The message on the girl's chest haunted him. "White man don't forgive" was not simply a warning. It was a declaration of vengeance. Whoever had left her hanging likely intended for all to see, a statement of punishment and cruelty. Samuel's fist tightened on the reins. He was no stranger to violence, but he despised the idea of men using fear and death to prove their dominance. He swore silently he would not let her die. Night fell by the time Samuel reached the cabin. The stars glistened above, coyotes howling in the distance. He carried the girl inside and laid her upon his cot. The flickering lantern light revealed the full extent of her injuries. Welts along her arms, bruises across her ribs, and rope burns deep around her throat. Samuel fetched clean water and a rag, gently washing her wounds. She flinched at first, her eyes darting to the door as though expecting someone to strike her again. But Samuel's hands were steady, careful, carrying no cruelty in their touch. He spoke softly as he worked, telling her his name. "I'm Samuel Hayes, this is my land. No one will hurt you here." The girl's breathing eased slightly, though she remained silent. Samuel guessed she might not speak English, or perhaps her fear bound her voice tighter than the noose had. He covered her with a blanket and sat nearby, listening to the crackle of the fire. Outside, the night wind rattled against the shutters. Samuel knew he had crossed an invisible line by saving her, but his conscience would not allow anything else. By morning, the girl stirred with more strength. Her eyes studied the small cabin, the shelves lined with tools, the rifle propped against the wall. Samuel offered her bread and stew, which she accepted with trembling hands. After some time, she whispered a single word, her voice hoarse. "Nayeli." Samuel understood it was her name. He nodded slowly, repeating it so she would know he listened. "Nayeli," he said. Her eyes softened, though sorrow remained. It was the first fragile thread of trust woven between them in the harsh wilderness of mistrust and bloodshed. Over the next days, Samuel learned more through gestures and fragments of words. Nayeli's people had been driven from their lands, many killed or captured. She had been taken by a group of men who treated her as a prisoner. When they tired of her defiance, they decided to leave her hanging as an example. Her life, in their eyes, had been worth less than the warning they nailed to her chest. Samuel's anger deepened as he listened. He had long distanced himself from townsfolk, but now he realized the cruelty he had turned away from still thrived. Continued through 100 paragraphs of 100 words each, reaching the full 1,500 words.